The Bronx Music Podcast is made possible in part by underwriting grants from City Council members Eric Dinowitz and Althea Stevens. Today's episode is produced through the program services of Project Media Zone, a community-based 501c3 media organization whose mission is to democratize media production of positive and informative content.
Even the Gun Hill, from Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue, Fordham Road, Co-op City to Elder Avenue, Valley Park, Eaton Wall to Bronx River, Bronx Deal, Soundview, S-Bar, baby. I'm boogie down like this Choke King, man. We go within the playground.
Hey everybody in podcast land and here at the Artist on City Island. Welcome to episode 28 of the Bronx Music Podcast. So let's get the business out of the way. We have a nice crowd here at the Artist on City Island. That's right, you can all make noise if you like. It's a very excited crowd for very good reasons. Our usual cast of characters are here. Elliot Glick from The Artist, it's his house, and along with Monica. George Williams, our technical director. The Bronx Music Podcast with me, Gary Axelbank, is produced through the services of George's nonprofit organization, Project Media Zone. And the Bronx Music Podcast receives underwriting support from New York City Council members Eric Dinowitz and Althea Stevens, and consultation support from my good buddy and their good buddy, Fernando Michael from Fox and King. And please like us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to love this. You love it every time we do the podcast. We know that. Our guest today, okay, I'm going to say this, burial for the living. Yes, he said that's right, burial for the living. We'll learn a lot more about that, you can be sure. Please welcome, to my left is Paul Picasso, and to my far left, Jenny Rivera from Burial for the Living. Yeah. All right, so here it is. We start with the worst question first. We always do that. Let's not mess around and get right to it. Burial for the living. Yeah. What is that about? So Paul, you could start, and then we'll bring Jenny in for that.
So the name is symbolic, has a lot of different meaning. I take it as one's personal enslavement to things, and within the process of that enslavement and problems and things that go on an everyday life basis, the living part is resurgence, being reborn once again, burying everything that is not good, that's negative to you, and a resurgence, being reborn once again.
So you look at burial for the living actually in two parts.
Right.
That there's a burial and then there's life after that. I have to, and maybe Jenny can weigh in too, all the things you said that are terrible in life. What are the kinds of things? We don't have to have a whole sociological and psychological evaluation here, but what are the kinds of things that inspire that notion that something needs to be buried? Jenny, you want to do that first?
Yeah, I think, well, like he said, everybody kind of has a little bit of a different take on what the name of the band means, and the resurgence is kind of the common thread that comes up between everybody. And it doesn't always have to be the negative things, but the negative things are the things you don't want to live with. You don't want to carry those things forward with you. So instead of having it be this live, living thing that's got its claws in you, you bury it and you come out on the other side.
You told me while we were standing around beforehand, and now I'm going to give away the big secret. They're married, folks.
Yeah.
And their daughter Eden is here. We're doing all kinds of stuff here. Yeah. But you did tell me that this concept and this music was why or how you got together. So Jenny first, and then you're going to have to weigh in. You're not getting off the hook. Right.
So we met 25-ish years ago.
Yeah. 25-ish?
Yeah.
That's a heavy
something
metal
around
term.
there. Yeah. A mutual friend of ours introduced us because I played guitar and sang, and Paul played guitar and sang, and he linked us up, and
They linked you up for the music.
For the music.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah.
25 years later you're going to be on the
Yeah.
Bronx Music Podcast. Okay.
it was definitely about the music, and we just connected through the music, and never stopped hanging out after that.
Okay, Paul, so what is it about the music, or what is it about something, the energy you get from Jenny that contributes to it? It's just some definition, if you would.
Right off the bat was pure talent. I was very in shock, amazed. She introduced me to her personal, projects and songs that she was writing, and right there it clicked.
It still does.
Wow, and it's still, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so on your bio, it says Burial for the Living. Now, here's some stuff, and I've been in music and done this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Burial for the Living is a Bronx-based metal act blending djent,
Yeah.
metalcore, and electronic elements with influences from drill and other urban rhythms. What is djent? It's djent.
Yeah.
I had never heard it before, and now we're all getting that education.
There's a lot of explaining, but I'll make it short. So there is, and these guys are pioneers. They're from Sweden, I think, Meshuggah. So they've been around for a very long time. They kind of pioneered this certain type of metal sound that influenced a lot of metalcore bands, and they took that sound and it's became epic, basically very influential. So, djent has a lot of different forms, rhythmically, sonically, and it's real fun to play.
And I looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's why you just said Meshuggah. Now maybe your parents didn't speak Yiddish like mine did, but Meshuggah means crazy. So
Right,
yeah, right. So the style focuses on complex syncopated rhythms,
Yes.
polyrhythms, and technical proficiency, often blending elements of metalcore and jazz fusion.
Yes.
Okay, so now. Why heavy metal? And in your mind, what? And again, both of you will get a chance to weigh in on this. In your mind, what did you do to? Now, let's see who's the traditional heavy metal. I mean, Motorhead, right? I made a long list, right? On one of the pages here. So here you go: Motorhead, Scorpions, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. This is all traditional heavy metal, but now you have looked at it and taken it to a new modern level. So what's the deal? And let's do it. I want to hear why.
So where you want me to start?
I want you to start with why heavy metal, and what about those groups and others, Led Zeppelin and everybody else,
Yeah,
who influenced you. Why did that speak to you, and you are so compelled to repeat it?
Crazy story. I remember being a child, young, late 80s, watching infomercials and watching...
What commercials?
An infomercial.
Infomercials.
Right? Back then, and Kiss showed up on the TV.
It's the one group I didn't mention. Okay.
Yeah, Gene Simmons, all I saw was his tongue and blood coming out, and I said, that's cool.
How old were you?
I'm probably like...
Teens?
No, maybe 6, 7 years
Oh,
old.
that young.
Yeah.
And Gene Simmons' tongue spoke to you. There's probably a lot of people. Now let's be clear. There's probably a lot of people for other reasons felt the same way.
Right.
But that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So
So that was the beginning.
it was an impact, and then the teens came along. I was into skateboarding and whatnot. The punk scene.
Here in the BX.
Yeah, here in the BX. Then got drawn into more heavy metal music through influences of a band called Korn, Deftones, Metallica, Slayer, Pantera. these are like pioneer
And
bands.
is it the volume? Is it the, and I don't want to necessarily use this word, is it the anger? Is it the emotion? What is it that speaks to you?
100
And Jenny, don't go away because you're getting this exact same question.
Sure.
100% emotion, transparency, and just pure, just rawness, that I get from it.
The expression
The
of that.
expression, yeah, and it's unfiltered. There's no censorship. It's just, metal has something where it's loud music, yes. A lot of people don't understand it, but if you get to know the history about it and dig into it, you'll understand why bands connect with the crowd.
Passion, anger, love, right? Both
Lots
sides
that.
of the coin.
Yes, there's a yin and yang.
Go ahead, Jenny. What do you think? Why metal, and why did this music speak to you?
So I pretty much have always grown up around music. My dad was more into like the Beatles and the Stones and
Little groups
the
like that.
70s, rock and stuff. And then as I grew a little bit older, I started hearing more things like Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Soundgarden and all these things. And just the evolution within me just started. I was digging into the rock genre, and then it led me into metal. And then when I went to high school,
Where did you go to high school?
I went to professional performing arts in Manhattan, and
Grew up here in the Bronx?
I grew up here in the Bronx, which was also really unusual because at the time everyone was in the hip hop scene, and my house was like a little cocoon of all this variety of music going on. But I always was attracted to the heavier sound. And then as I grew up, and we all go through our life experiences, what really attracted me to metal was having this outlet to channel all of these emotions and all of this passion and all of these feelings that you have going on, negative or positive. And it was just a way to channel all of that in a constructive way, which sounds very unusual because people hear the fast-paced beats and the screaming lyrics and all of this stuff. But ultimately it's like, yeah, but we're getting it out here. You get it out here. You get it out at a concert. You get it out in a mosh pit.
It's
and you
undeniable.
you don't take that energy when you leave. You take it there, you drop it off. Everyone's in the same mindset. And then when it's over, you just had this very beautiful, emptying and fulfilling experience.
I would like to introduce you to my friend Paul, because I'm hearing the same voice coming out here. Now, just to be clear, you have day jobs and stuff like that. What do you do?
Security.
And what do you do?
Well, I went back to school.
Went
I
back-
left my day job and
Could
I
we
went back
have some applause, please? Thank you very much. Good,
Yeah.
good for you. And is there an objective, or you just wanted to be
I'm
more
studying
fulfilled?
political science. I'm very, very inspired
Okay.
by current events.
Now, okay. And what really speaks to me as somebody who's worked and done this in the Bronx and is because you mentioned that in that era, for obvious reasons, hip hop was the rage. We were creating it, we were inventing it, we were living it. I mean, that's what it was. But you said our house did something else. If that ain't a Bronx story, there isn't one that exists, because
sure.
each of us, and it's why we do the Bronx Music Podcast, and we've had all kinds of music here, because that's who we are.
That's right.
And there we go. Jenny, you write lyrics.
Yes.
Do you think about the final result when you're putting them down? Or do you say to yourself, well, this sounds good, and then maybe eventually you and Paul in the band, we have to talk about the band, by the way,
Yeah.
but you and Paul in the band will figure it out? Or do you say, this is good for the band?
My process is a little bit more of I write what I feel, things that are relevant, and then because Paul produces all the beats ahead of time, usually hearing what he's come up with, I'll throw a pair of headphones on, or we'll just have it continuously playing, and it will inspire and grow a narrative within myself that then I write lyrics and then I adapt them to the song. Sometimes I just have lyrics in general, just things floating around in my head, free writing kind of things, and I will move things around so that it will fit the structure of whatever song we're working on.
Paul, you do all the production. Do you enter into or engage into the subject matter of the lyrics, or do you just let her do her thing and you do your thing and stuff like that? Or is there collaboration in the creation of the songs?
I let her
In
do
that
her
way.
thing. I let her, again, take whatever you're inspired with and write about it. Feel it out. Bring it to the table. We'll go over it. I could say 99% of the time, the lyrics fall well with what's being produced.
I'm only laughing because I'd like you to meet my friend Jenny. Because maybe there's something you guys can work on together. Talk about the band, and then we're going to have you play something. Talk about the band. Go ahead. You tell me the other players who are not here.
Okay, so the way this started out, it was just my personal project that I wanted to do on my own, just a one-man band thing. It was gonna kind of be an online thing, but the more I started producing the music and I started seeing where this can go, I said, I think I should start recruiting some members and seeing how far this can go, how this can grow.
How wide you could make it. How wide you could make it.
Yeah, exactly. I said, I'm basically the founder, the creator of the band, but I know a longtime friend of mine who's the bassist. His name is Dennis.
Last name?
Torrent.
Terrence.
Yes.
Okay.
We spoke, and I laid it all out to him, and I said, would you be interested in joining? And he said, let's do it. From there,
And it made sense.
made sense. From there, I recruited my other guitarist, Dwight Hargett, phenomenal guitarist. I've known him for a while, and when I came up with the idea saying, hey, you want to join? And he got very surprised. He was like, me? I said, yeah, man, you play one hell of a good guitar. So I said, why not join with us?
And how long ago was that put together?
About a year and a half?
Year and a half.
Wow.
A year and a half
Yeah.
ago?
All right, listen. It's just the two of them here, okay? And it's going to sound like the whole band. And that is due to Paul's genius. So this is the art of lighting a fire.
Yes.
All right, everybody ready? What we need. One of the things we need to do for this particular group, we're going to pass out seatbelts, so you have a seatbelt to strap you in, so you don't go wild here with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Burial for the Living.
Thank you.
We go back, back, back. We go back, back, back. We go back, 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 back. We go back to the beginning, finding ways to change the consequence. Using remnants of the past, not to change the walls of what lies ahead. A broken house is still a home that's there just when we need it most. We cannot feel the ache if everything just stays the same. We can imitate ourselves from yesterday and pray that we can get it right today. We go back to the beginning, finding ways to change the consequence. Using remnants of the past, not to change the walls of what lies ahead. Sinking within to fracturing the bonds that lead us to It's which one we left behind.
We go back to the beginning, finding ways to change the consequence. Using remnants of the past, not to change the walls of what lies ahead. We go back to the beginning, finding ways to change the consequence. Using remnants of the past, not to change the walls of what lies ahead. We swore we left behind. We swore we left behind. We swore we left behind.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your support.
All right. Now, there's two people in this room, and there were 18 different segments in that piece of music. Paul, just talk about how you learned. I mean, this gizmo that's down here is well beyond my comprehension. But how did you learn and develop production in a modern way? How did you figure that out?
I started in 2007 with a program called FL Studios. Back then, computers had the floppy disk.
So somebody out here said, "Oh."
Yeah, this is going, early 2000s.
And why? Because you just kept saying this is a good concept. We want to keep. I use the word make it wider, make it bigger.
Yeah, well, like I said, her brother, my brother-in-law, he's a musician as well, a producer. So we both started messing around with beats like hip hop, and that was mainly the focus. So from there, it started escalating to learning how to produce different type of genres of music, which I'm into electronic music, hip hop, instrumental, and pop, rock.
And I have to tell you, we are doing the Bronx Music Podcast, and we're talking about a serious heavy metal group. Yet you talk about being influenced by hip hop, by the sound, by the rhythm, and that's how powerful it has been, of course, for the entire.
It's a big
universe.
influence, yes.
And is the technology always changing and you grow with it, or do you pretty much have it figured out how to do it?
Oh yes, it's constantly changing. The
You
production.
poor guy.
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate, but you have to get with the times, the technology. You have to upgrade and all these crazy things. But within time, you get to get there.
There is something else that happened during that piece of music that I have to ask. Now, Jenny, you sing beautifully.
Thank you.
But there is that moment that you transform your voice to something else. And I know, as somebody who has done speaking voice for many longer than you're alive, if I get there, if I go to a ball game and I shout, I screw up my vocal cords, and I got to be real careful. You seem to be able to go from one to the other pretty quickly. What the heck?
We have different sets. Like we have our main vocal cords. But
You're saying we, all of us?
everyone. We have what's called a set of false chords. You can activate that. Like you ever do a big yawn? That same place where you feel that sensation of the yawn come from, that is the same place where that guttural voice comes from. And then your tongue positioning makes the sound either higher pitched or deeper pitched. It's interesting stuff, but it doesn't hurt at all. If you're hurting yourself, you're not doing it right.
Well, as someone, as I said, who's done speaking voice for a very long time, I understand that. And you know how to do it. Now, do you write the lyrics knowing that that's where it's going to go, or does that develop?
Absolutely not. That happens organically.
Organically?
Yeah, that all happens organically. Once the songs come together and you kind of feel things out, you kind of find the space to make those additions.
I'm just fascinated by the use of technology and by the different sounds that you get. Are you constantly trying to find new sounds, or you are? Well, that was the stupidest question of the day. Okay,
not at all. Good question. No, I'm always experimenting. I don't know the way my ears work. I find little discrepancies, and I'm like, no, that's not it. I gotta fine tune it, and I'm constantly like trying to upgrade that sound to, at that moment, the feeling that I'm getting. So it's kind of weird. It's a little weird process, but I'm all about sound.
I talk with artists, painters, and others, and a lot of times if they do random stuff, and I always say, how do you know when you're finished? And a lot of it is because they don't have patience. They want to just keep doing. I don't think you have a lot of patience. When you hear it, you say, you know what, I think I could create. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong about that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird. Like I said, it's a weird process for me because it goes both ways. Sometimes I do get impatient, but then I tell myself, no, just remember, it's a process. So I have to keep telling myself that.
And one of the things that I'm guilty of from hearing and watching you perform and hearing recorded music is you get lost in the texture, and as a listener, you get lost in the texture and the sound, and you forget that you're a really good guitarist.
Oh, thank you.
Where did you learn to play the guitar?
Okay, funny story.
We like funny stories. We like.
So yeah, I purchased my first guitar, which was a Les Paul Epiphone, red, I think, with the sunburst on it. My first guitar.
How
Great
long
guitar.
ago?
I was 18 or 17, I think. I think 17 around there, and Guitar Center offered lessons for 2 weeks, right? I remember.
If you buy a guitar, that's a good deal, actually.
Good
Yeah,
deal. Well, it
excuse
kind of went left.
I retract this statement.
Yeah. So I remember going for a few classes, Guitar Center, and they're teaching us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's how I play.
And I'm like,
See that you have no patience.
Yeah.
I said it.
I was the rebel in it, and I said, you know what? I just went home. At that time, there were Walkmans, and one of my favorite guitarists is Jimi Hendrix, and
Gee, I wonder why.
and I remember hearing Purple Haze over the headphones, and I had at the time tablature music. Basically, is sheet music, but in numbers, so it tells you what frets to play and whatnot. I kept hearing Jimi Hendrix over and over, Purple Haze, and by the time I knew it, I learned how to play Purple Haze, and from there, it took off.
Jenny, since I asked him about his influences, who singer-wise do you emulate, do you think about, or did you get inspired by?
That's a hard question for me. I had a feeling
Really?
it would come
Why?
up.
Because there are so many?
I have so many musical influences in so many different.
We are going to be here for a
so
couple
many
hours.
different genres. I mean, you mentioned Joan Jett. She was like big time idol for me.
We mentioned her before we started the show.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
before shooting. I mean, I listen to almost every kind of
Janis
music.
Joplin?
I even love Celine Dion. So it's really hard for me to narrow that
I think
down.
about Janis Joplin. and the
Janice,
range
that
of
is
her
my
voice.
favorite girl. Yeah.
You
That's
see
my
it?
favorite girl.
Yeah, wow. All right, so we're going to do the second one, ladies and gentlemen. This is, you want to introduce it? I know the title is Remnants of the Past.
Remnants of the Past.
You want to say something about it before we hear it?
It's a song about wanting to break patterns and finding yourself still repeating them because there's so much comfort in doing what you know and having, that fear of the unknown. But ultimately it's a rise up song. It's we went back, but we're going to break that down.
And you know what that means? It is an extension of Burial for the Living.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Correct.
All right, so here we go. This is Burial for the Living, and it is Paul and Jenny, and they're going to do Remnants of the Past.
The things we fear are cleansing. Everything must come to play. And then we find the truth within the ashes we have made. Everything burns down the same way. Shadows move where light once lived. Seen the hell beneath the skin. Same mistakes but different sins. The cycle starts and we dive in. I light the match, we're shaking hands. Hope the flame will understand. Strike the match and let it rain. And when it's dark, you'll light the path that we're shown. Let the fire lead the way. The things we fear are cleansing. Everything must come to play. And then we find the truth within the ashes we have made. Everything burns down the same way. Learn this book before the flame. Every burn is born from pain. I watch it dance, it knew my name. Ashes fall where we once stood. I called it strength, but it was near. Smiled enough to keep it near. Left the light and stepped back in. And when it's dark, we'll light the path that we're shown. Let the fire lead the way. And when it's dark, we'll light the path the way one show. Let the fire lead the way. And then we find the truth within the ashes we have made. Everything burns down the same way. The things we fear are cleansing. Everything must come to play. And then we find the truth within the ashes we have made. Everything burns down the same way. Let the fire lead the way. Let the fire lead the way. Let the fire lead the way. Let the fire lead the
Is it hard to play stuff like that live with all the changes and the things? I mean, I was watching you. You really got to do your work.
Yeah, it can be a little tedious because there's times.
She's nodding.
Oh, yeah.
Knowingly.
It's tedious because you get so emotional while you're up here and you're playing. You're like, oh, and then next thing you're like, wait. Oh, I got to switch to that part. So
Yeah.
it's like tap dancing, and you got to go from one sound to the next one.
Do you practice? I mean, because this sounds like a whole band. I mean, do you practice everything with the band? You do, and is that in the creation of it, or you just bring them in when it's time to play out and play a concert or something?
It's both.
Both, yeah.
It's both.
How do you know which or when? It's just a creative process, pretty much.
Yeah,
Do you play every day?
yeah. I play as much as possible.
He plays every day. I sing every day. Yeah.
With him?
Not always together.
Doing the
but
dishes.
Yeah. All day long. We're a very musical household.
Well, isn't that nice? Can I do something really that I really want to do?
Sure.
Your daughter is here, right?
Thanks. Yeah, she's
Eden,
here.
you want to come up?
Come on up.
Hey, baby.
Come on, right here.
Careful.
Watch.
Oh, you want to stand with them? I was gonna
He's gonna stand right there with you.
stand right here. Okay. Do you like hearing them play?
Yeah.
And what do you like about them playing?
I like about them that they play a lot.
Okay.
And do you have a favorite song or a song that you hear that they play, or you like everything they play?
I like everything they play.
Oh, thank
And-
you, baby.
Thank you, baby.
And now I have to ask you a really hard question. Do you sing yourself sometimes?
Yeah.
You want to sing a quick something for us?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I know how to sing, but I don't.
You don't have to
You
do
got
it.
shy.
Okay, thank you very much. You can go back and say hello to Grandma. All right, she is just
Thank you.
so well spoken. The family came out to support. So now let's see. The new single is coming out. It's called Savage.
Yes.
You wrote the lyrics.
I co-wrote the lyrics with a good friend of ours. His name is Martin Gonzalez. He is, for anybody who knows the underground hardcore scene, he is,
Hardcore scene here in the BX.
hardcore scene. of
I
the
know it
BX.
exists. That's why you're here.
Yeah, he is royalty. He doesn't like to be called that, but he is. He was in a really popular band called Billy Club Sandwich, and now he is in a band called Brass Knuckle Brigade. And this was a very, very unique project for him. He did not know how to jump on board, but he knew he was going to jump on board. So I had kind of a hook in mind, and we didn't know how we were going to divide the rest. So we did end up co-writing the song with each other.
Give us a little a little hint, a little clue, a little something about it like why you guys like this piece so much.
So it's funny because he also has a song called Savages, which I at the time.
So wait, did you steal it?
I know that was the thought. I actually didn't know, but there's the distinction: the S or not the S. But I presented the concept to him of, having relationships with people who may believe that they are the end all be all of your capacity, and they walk away with this sensation of, oh, that's gonna hurt when I walk away from them, and then you rise from that situation savagely with teeth.
What I like a lot, which I've learned through this dialogue, is that the emotion is strong and fierce and loud and hard, but its ultimate goal is not that. It's just the opposite. It's almost like, get it out and then be able
Growth.
to. My last question for each of you, Paul, we'll start with you. What about the Bronx? What about the Bronx fuels this music, fuels who you are? And of course, Jenny, you'll get the same question. What is it about this crazy, wild borough of the Bronx that works for the music and for the people who make it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Culture and music culture. Again, I mean, this is the birthplace of hip hop, which also
Doo-wop,
has-
salsa, jazz,
I
please.
mean, all time. Yeah,
It's all our music.
It's all types of genres, but again, into hardcore music, hardcore punk. There's a lot of bands that came from the Bronx that don't really get recognition, but now that's happened recently. One of the bands that I love, two bands. One of them is called Irate. They're from the Bronx, from the Kingsbridge area. And Billy Club Sandwich, which she had mentioned, Martin, that jumped on the song for us. So I said, this is awesome, like getting, that they're, we have some Bronx heavy metal bands, hardcore bands, and they do need a lot of respect, and, they need to be known, because for some reason,
That's why you're here, dude.
for some reason we get put to the side, and
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Yeah.
Everything is Manhattan or Brooklyn, Manhattan or Queens or whatnot. But, the Bronx needs to be put back on the map. And I'm seeing that lately with promoters and people that I know, that I network with, and they're trying to get a lot of bands out from the Bronx, and it's great.
One of the things, and I mentioned Fernando Michael and Fox and King at the beginning, what a lot of people don't know is there was you mentioned an underground scene. There was this underground scene for a long time, and we've addressed it earlier that it's starting to get recognized.
Exactly.
You used the word, and I believe that the rest of the world don't know that we have it, and maybe we're so diverse that we don't have a culture.
Yeah.
But that is our culture.
Yeah.
It is our
is
culture.
that every individual has their own thing. Jenny, your thoughts on the question about
Yeah,
about
I'm
our
kind of-
hometown, the BX?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength with you guys, because I see it like we're such this vibrant, rich, diverse place. We've got a little bit of everything, and yet we're in a constant position of being overlooked. Like we don't have anything to offer.
And having to defend ourselves.
And there's that
Absolutely.
sense too. I feel we get a very bad rap, but many, many good things come from the Bronx.
One of those good things is Burial for the Living, and our buddies.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Listen, Paul Picasso, Jenny Rivera,
Thank
thank you. A lot of times they say, well, rock on. I don't have to tell you. You're going to keep doing that.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you
know
so
that.
much.
And so Savage, look for that. You're going to put it out in all formats and everywhere.
Yeah, it'll be out soon everywhere.
Wow. And just keep, again, I like to say keep going, but try to tell them to stop. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no, not anytime soon.
All right, the Bronx Music Podcast made possible through the services of Project Media Zone. Thanks to everybody involved, Elliot and Monica Glick, whose house this is, and Monica does some of our outreach as well. The Artist is just the best concert venue in the Bronx year after year. My buddy George Williams, our technical director, also, of course, is the brains behind Project Media Zone, which is such an important concept for the Bronx, providing media for projects just like this. Production assistant is Joshua Cruz. We thank Akeisha Neely of Fab 360 Entertainment for some of her social media support. The Bronx Music Podcast receives underwriting support from New York City Council members Eric Dinowitz and Althea Stevens. Additional support, as I mentioned earlier, provided by Fox and King. And be sure to like us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And find, share, and the Bronx Music Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Our next show will be here at The Artist on Sunday, June 7th at 1 p.m., 249 City Island Avenue. Thank you all.
Thank
See
you
you
for
then.
having
Thank
us.
you. Take
Thank
care.
you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary. That was great.
That was great. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, great guys. Thank you. You got here right on time.
Do you have a question and answer time?
Not for the show, but you're welcome to ask.
Rolandville, even the Gun Hill, from Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue,